And that's a great idea, because you've seen a lot of fighters come in from other countries, different time zones, and when it's time to fight, their body believes that they should be resting, should be asleep, and they can't really put out the energy they need, and they drain that tank really quickly. So Loik coming in early, that's going to be a very good positive for him going into this one.
Loik Rachabov, the number 7 seed. His only career loss came in his Professional Fighters League debut at the hands of Mamedov, who we just saw eliminated from these Season 2 playoffs. There's his opponent, the 2 seed Ислом Мамедов. Randy Couture, this man lost his 2nd professional fight and has since rattled off 17 straight victories. He had to pull out of last year's playoffs with an injury, so we did not get to see his full potential in Season 1. A lot of people think this guy might be a sleeper.
Yeah, he said he was very disappointed to have to pull out last year in the playoffs, but he's prepared especially for this fight. I'm not sure what that means when a Russian tells you he prepared special technique just for you. So we'll have to see what that is, but believes he wants Wade in the semifinals, and he's just looking forward to Schultz. So, I mean, he's looking ahead, but he's definitely going to be a formidable challenge here tonight.
It's been 10 years since Ислом Мамедов lost his last fight. He comes into tonight, as we look at our cage muscle tail of the tape, with a 5-inch reach advantage in the standing situation here with the arms, and a 6-inch reach advantage if he chooses to use those kicks. He's also a good sight taller, at 4 inches taller than Loik Rachabov. They are both 29 years old. Lillian Garcia starts another feather lightweight quarterfinal inside the cage.
Fight fans, we continue the quarterfinals in the lightweight division. This is brought to you by Real Time Pain Relief. Real time it and knock out your pain. Introducing to you first, fighting out of the blue corner. He is a wrestler, standing at 5 feet 8 inches tall, weighing in at 154 pounds. In 13 professional bouts, he has a record of 12 wins and 1 defeat. He is number 7 seed, fighting out of Dushanbe, Tajikistan, Loik Jaguar Paw Rachabov. His opponent, fighting out of the red corner, he specializes in Sambo, standing at 6 feet even, weighing in at 155 pounds. In 19 professional bouts, he has a record of 18 wins and 1 defeat. He is the number 2 seed, fighting out of Dagestan, Russia, Ислом Мамедов. Your referee in charge, Jason Herzog.
Jason Herzog wearing our ref cam. If necessary, we'll give you a look inside the PFL Smart Cage. Ислом Мамедов in the red shorts, the number 2 seed, Loik Rachabov in the gray. More than 30 fights between them, but only a loss apiece. The show of respect here to open up this lightweight quarterfinal, and Ислом Мамедов slaps an inside leg kick. There's Nate Andrews, the 6th seed. He'll face Chris Wade later, potentially facing the winner of this fight if he can get past Wade. Feeling out process continues here, 30 seconds down in round 1.
Ислом Мамедов is a veteran of the PFL. He's undefeated inside the PFL, and he made it this far last season. Undefeated, though. He pulled out of the playoffs after winning his quarterfinals. And I think he wants to go all the way this year.
Powerful stuff there by Loik Rachabov, and a left hook to follow it up. Mamedov goes back to a single. Oh, and Rachabov has him hurt. Ислом Мамедов once again on a single leg. Rachabov wrenching at the jaw of Ислом Мамедов to get him off of that single leg. Mamedov able to elevate and dump Rachabov at least temporarily to the ground. He was stumbled there for a minute, Randy.
He was. That little hammer fist caught him right on the chin and wobbled him a little bit. Loik said he had the wrestling ability to negate Mamedov's wrestling experience. He certainly showed that with a really hard sprawl, brought his hips hard and stifled the single leg attempts by Mamedov.
He also showed that he understands what Islam wants to do, because in the fighter meetings when we spoke to him, he said that Islam was going to try to wrestle him to negate or to get away from his punching power.
Nice Grammy roll by Loik Rachabov to get out of the bottom position.
Mamedov attempts to grab another single.
Front choke attempt.
Mamedov able to step out of it, and now right into the mount on top of Loik Rachabov.
Full mount.
You see there the legs laced all the way underneath the backside of Loik Rachabov. Tough position to escape. And he just bench presses his way out of the bottom there.
Hip escape by Rachabov.
Showing that power. Mamedov trains with a tough team. He's out there at American Kickboxing Academy with Khabib Nurmagomedov, Daniel Cormier. You know, that's a very strong camp, especially for kickboxing and grappling.
And we got a bit of an education yesterday on the popularity of MMA in Tajikistan, where Loik Rachabov hails from. He and his coaches were telling us that if he could advance to the championship by fighting twice and winning twice tonight, it would be the biggest fight in the history of that country. He might be the biggest star in combat sports in the history of that country. Huge opportunity for him here, but he's underneath Islam Mamedov. Side control for Islam Mamedov in the red trunks on top.
Gets that underhook, circles towards it.
Interestingly enough, Mamedov is the last man to beat our season 1 champion, Natan Schultz, who of course he might see later tonight. Take a look inside Islam Mamedov's corner.
Hold the position. You have to. Right leg. Go around with the right leg. Hold the position. Well done, buddy. Just like that.
I misspoke. It would be in the championship that Mamedov could potentially rematch with Natan Schultz. But right now, Islam Mamedov grinding away on Loik Rachabov. 1 minute left here in the quarterfinal bout.
Have we seen this position before in mixed martial arts?
Absolutely have. It's one of the favorites of Khabib Nurmagomedov, stepping over both those ankles, trapping a guy's hips in that top position.
That's got to be a tough room to get out from underneath the bottom of.
It was a really nice level change of penetration to that double leg to put Rachabov in this position.
And now Islam takes the back, at least temporarily, of Loik Rachabov.
And the way this round went, I can see judges having a different opinion over this one, because Mamedov was stunned. He was hurt, but he did control the situations.
A second round of lightweight quarterfinal action when we return. Welcome back to Mandalay Bay, lightweight quarterfinal action. And Yves, this was a dangerous scenario for Islam Mamedov.
It was. Loik Rachabov was defending the single leg attempt by Mamedov and landed a big hammer fist on the chin of Mamedov. And what happens here? Mamedov ties up and just tries to secure this takedown and also recover at the same time. He was able to get himself out of that spot, but man, he had to be hurt.
Mamedov in the red trunks, undefeated in the last 10 years of MMA action.
That means he was a teenager the last time he lost a fight.
Rachabov in the gray. Second and final round of this quarterfinal bout. It's fight twice, win twice for a chance at $1 million in a PFL belt. This is lightweight quarterfinal action. Big hooks here from Loik Rajabov, crowding himself a little bit, but putting Mamedov on the retreat. He ducks under, grabs the takedown.
He should have stepped over the head, but he didn't. He made the second best choice. He got himself out of there.
Rajabov did a great job of spinning out of that last takedown attempt, but now the body lock by Ислом Мамедов, smothering pressure against the cage here for the Dagestani representative. There's Chris Wade watching. He will potentially face the winner of this bout, the Long Island killer Chris Wade, carrying our 3 seed into these lightweight playoffs. And Randy, this is a place where you made a lot of hay, pressing guys up against the cage, wearing them out. Is Mamedov doing all the right things here?
For the most part, he's absolutely controlling the position, and he's dictating where this fight takes place right now. But I feel like he's doing that because he doesn't like the power that he's feeling from Loik.
And I think, Yves, to your point at the end of round number 1, it's hard to know how things are going to be judged. Control is one thing, but when you get dropped early in a round, you have to control for a long time in order to recover in the judges' eyes sometimes.
Yeah, and by getting rocked like that, sometimes those judges, they feel like that's a more significant aspect of the round.
More smothering pressure here from Mamedov on top. 3 minutes remaining in this quarterfinal lightweight bout. Rajabov pressing against the head, scrambling, trying to get himself out. Mamedov locked onto the right leg of Loik Rajabov.
And we've seen before, sometimes the judges don't award you for what they seem to, what we call sometimes lay and pray. It's not as if Mamedov is laying and praying. He's working for these takedowns. He's not affecting too much damage from the top.
Temporarily back to his feet was Loik Rajabov, but Mamedov has dumped him to his back again, working against the cage on the ground, halfway through round number 2. Yves, how do you get out from under this smothering pressure?
What Rajabov needs to do is take his right hand and push down on Mamedov's head so that he can turn his hips over. And if Loik Rajabov can turn his hips over and go belly down in that direction, he'll be able to build up to his knees, and then it's going to be a matter of fighting hands to get to the space that he needs to throw his strikes.
Mamedov staying on top, but it's been all wrestling. So far, not a significant strike thrown on the ground.
And now with his head up against the fence, it makes it so much harder.
Mamedov steps over to the mount. Loik Rajabov inside of 2 minutes left to make something happen here. If the judges saw this as a win in round number 1 for Loik Rajabov, and they finish this quarterfinal bout at 1 round apiece, judges are asked to pick an overall winner of the fight, the overall body of work. Rajabov able to scramble out, and now he finds himself on top and again defending a single leg takedown.
He scrambled nicely, came right up, and instead of backing off and taking space and creating striking room, he ran right into another Mamedov single leg and puts himself right back in the bottom.
Agreed. He looked a little indecisive at that moment also. He didn't jump right on, and he didn't back out. He paused for a second, and I think that gave Mamedov time to decide he was going to come to his knees and attack that single leg.
Mamedov once again on top, inside control of Loik Rajabov. Rajabov able to escape in an uppercut. Does he have enough time with 30 seconds remaining here in round number 2? The final round of this bout. Mamedov shoots for another single leg, tying up the left leg, but now Rajabov's on his neck.
That's deep.
Ислом Мамедов defending the choke, but he's got Rajabov up to the side of his body. Can Rajabov finish the choke?
He can't finish it with one hand.
With 10 seconds remaining, he'll squeeze on the neck of Ислом Mamedov.
Not from that angle. He can't finish it with one hand.
A rally at the end there for Loik Rajabov. Now this is going to be interesting because some judges will score a fight based on something like takedown numbers, overall control of a round. I know judges who will judge on the criteria who came closer to finishing the fight in the round. And you can make a case that in both the first round with the stunning punch from Loik Rachabov and in the second round with that last-minute choke attempt, that Loik Rachabov actually came closer to finishing this fight.
I wonder if the judges even recognized with the little hammer fist that Mamedov was in trouble when he was in on that single leg in the first round. It was very subtle. We saw it, but I'm wondering if the judges saw it.
And then also, sometimes the judges take into account how much damage you're doing when you're in these controlling positions. And Loik Rachabov did the most damage, although Mamedov was controlling some of these wrestling situations. He wasn't doing any damage.
Here's the replay. Randy, walk me through this.
He's in deep. Mamedov's in deep on this double. Pulls the hips out and drops him. Drops Loik right to his back. And you look for him, he's going to step over and try and secure those legs. Here he's at the back, he got too high. Loik did a nice job pulling him over the top and settling in and making him stand up. Mamedov wants no part of it. He's diving right back in for that single. And here's the bulldog choke. He's got an opposite leg in to secure as an anchor, and it's an odd angle to really secure a good blood choke.
You can see the pressure there, the color of Mamedov's head changing colors, but on such short time, Loik Rachabov unable to finish. And here's the referee cam. It's a game of inches sometimes, Eve.
Man, inches and fractions of seconds. That's what fighting's all about. But look at Mamedov. He knows he's in trouble, but he's doing the right things. He's trying to get his back to the mat. He's trying to keep Loik off of his back completely from getting that back position. He did exactly what he needed to wade out that 10-second, 15-second situation.
Here are the Cageonomics final fight stats, and Ислom Mamedov with those takedowns really told the story of his entire offense in this fight. It was wrestling, no real significant ground strikes. You see there that he landed a couple of them, but no damage on Loik Rachabov. So judging criteria is sometimes subjective, and it really becomes a big factor in the way this fight is scored, because if it's about a wrestling match, Randy, and just pure riding time, this is clearly Ислom Mamedov's fight.
Absolutely.
But that's not what mixed martial arts is about.
No, and I agree. This is a very tough one for the judges to score, and it's going to be interesting to see what they come up with.
Now, when we look at those stats, oh, there's Chris. He wants to fight one of these guys because he wants his opportunity to get back at Nathan Schultz.
Somebody asked Chris Wade who won this fight. We're still waiting on the judge's decision. There's his opponent, Nate Andrews. These two already squared off once. If this goes to a draw on the judges' scorecards, the judges will then be asked to pick an overall winner. Last year, in the playoffs, we waited the first round. The winner of the first round, that was the tiebreaker. No longer the case. It's now Pride rules. If it goes to a draw, you have to pick an overall winner to advance in our playoff bracket. Lillian Garcia has the official judge's decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 2 rounds, we go to the judges' scorecards, and the bout has been ruled a majority draw. Therefore, it comes down to a tiebreaker. Each judge has chosen a fighter to advance based on their overall performance. And all 3 judges have picked the same fighter. Advancing to the semifinals, Loik Rachabov!
Loik Rachabov advances on the tiebreaker. Judges, and we talked about this. Again, a dominant wrestling performance for Ислom Mamedov, but not enough offense in the eyes of these judges. And Loik Rachabov came closer to finishing this fight in both rounds.
He did, and the tiebreaker, we call it Pride rules, but it's basically the schoolyard rules. It's who won the majority of the fight. You know, it's not who's on top at the end, it's none of that. It's who won the majority of the fight.